How's it going, guys? It's Connor here, and in this video we're going to go over some housing stuff. I'm going to show you what I've built and some interesting informations and little things that you can do with housing. Now, I'm sure by now you've already put down your plots and you've started building some interesting things. Now, the first thing you should know is that you get two houses. One in the Alliance area, which is the Founder's Point. And if you have a Horde character, you can also have a house in the Horde Zone, which is the Razorwind Shores. If you want a house here, you'll have to make a Horde character to do so. You'll see here in your housing dashboard, you can access both of your houses by this little drop-down menu. You can see my one from our guild neighborhood, and then the one from my Horde neighborhood, which is just a public one. You'll see if I select the Alliance one, this one's level 3, the other one's level 1, but essentially they'll both be the same level. If I level them up, they just level independently from each other. And at any time, you can use either of the houses to live in. So I can bring my Horde characters over to the Alliance one and I can be there with the Horde character and vice versa. If you want to have your own neighborhood or join your guild neighborhood, you can go to the bulletin board in either of the zones. It has an icon like this in the major town. If you're making the neighborhood, you're going to interact with the steward who stands next to the board, and you can be like, I'm interested in founding my own neighborhood. This is the NPC your guild master will speak to start the guild neighborhood, as long as there's 10 unique accounts within the guild. Now, if you've already placed down your house in a public neighborhood, this is fine. You can move. All you do is open up the housing dashboard, and then you'll go to the open house finder. And if you do have a guild neighborhood, it will be the first one at the top over here for your guild. That's the one you'll find right there. Alternatively, you can move to a public one if you want to as well. If your guild has more than 55 active members or active accounts, you'll actually get a second phase or a different layer so that you'll have more plots available, since there's only 55 locations up for use for somebody's house. Now, in terms of decor, there are many pieces of decor that you can get in the game. And unfortunately, there's a bunch of vendors that you can get them from too. This is where I'm going to recommend you get the Decor Vendor add-on. I'll link this in the description down below. Essentially, this add-on, if you hit the button over here, the Decor Vendor button, you'll be able to find all the vendors in the entire game, and you can see there are a bunch of them. These are just the Alliance ones. I can actually show both locations over here, or the neutral ones. So if I access the Alliance ones, for example, there is a vendor in Darnassus. As an example, I'll show you the Stormwind one. There are 3 in Stormwind. I'll just go ahead to the Mage Quarter. We'll hit a waypoint, and then I'll make my way to the location. If you have the TomTom add-on, you'll see this is going to point you to this location right over here in the Mage Quarter, and we can find that there's this Pandaren over here who we can purchase from. It looks like she sells absolutely nothing. Fantastic. If I try the next NPC's location over here, I can hit the waypoint. This one will be over here in Old Town in Stormwind. So let's go ahead and see where this takes us and what they have to offer. So it's this lady over here, Rika. And it looks like she sells a bunch of PvP stuff. And you can see this is where you're going to be spending honor to buy things, even marks of honor. You can spend unique pieces of currency. You can hold control and left click to see what these things look like. You can even get their power chests. That's pretty cool, actually. Yo, look at this. This is pretty sick. Some of these will require you to unlock an achievement before you can purchase them, however. So do take note of that. So this add-on is going to help you find a bunch of the vendors if you want to just check everything out and see what's available, or just how to get to a vendor in certain locations. There's also a web database of all the decor items that you can choose from, as well as where you get them from. So if you know what you're looking for, you can use the add-on to go to the vendor that sells it and pick it up. If you have a look at this website, this is the WoW Database Housing Hub. This is in beta right now. They're busy working on the website. It's going to change as time goes on. But essentially, it lists all the pieces of decor. Or it will list all the pieces of decor. Currently, it has a bunch of them. It says here it currently lists 2,296 items. That's crazy. And you can sort these by a various amount of filters, like by the color, the budget cost, like how much it is, the quality of the item, whether it comes from achievements, crafting, treasures, or wherever it just comes from in general, what currency you used to expend on it, and which expansion it might be from. You can use this to find the exact piece of decor you're looking for. And even more so, the game allows you to be super creative. You know, like building a toilet with toilet paper and, a sink so that you can wash your hands when you're done. Now, let me go over some basic techniques. Obviously, what you create is really up to your creativity and how you build it, but I'll show you the techniques involved in doing many of the things. So what a lot of people are doing is when you're editing your house, right, you take objects and then you use the advanced mode, right? When you click an object here, you get to use it in a 3D plane by moving it like that, and you position it the way you want. You can also rotate it in any angle that you desire. And then you can use the third option here to scale it. So if you want a massive rock, you want a small rock, it's completely up to you. Like I can make this tiny here. Now you will notice, if you didn't see it, there's a tiny floating chair. Now, you know chairs, you can sit on chairs, right? So I click this thing, I'm sitting on the little baby chair. Strange, but this is how you can get what I had earlier. So for example, if I go ahead and I change this rock, and I wish there was like an undo or save mechanic, because sometimes when you mess something up, you got to build it or move it exactly the way it was before. So let's say I do this, right? I put that chair over here and I just cover it with the rock. So with the rock in place here, if I select the chair, now by default, the chair was like, you know, it was chair size. I used the scale function, I made the chair tiny, and then you use the move function and you move the chair into an object, just barely into it. You don't want to like sink it all the way to the dead bottom here. You just want to put it like this, lower it so that it's not visible, move it a little bit back and down here, and then you'll try actually sit on it. So I'll go ahead and I'll sit on it. You'll see here, it maybe doesn't work the exact way you want, but what's great from this point of view, I can still edit the house while I'm still sitting. I can select the object in advanced mode and I can move the stone, and I can line the stone up the exact way I want so that it, well, it sits the way I want it to, you know, so that it looks like I'm actually just chilling on the stone right there. And that is how you can achieve this effect of just, well, sitting in places where sitting is not usually available. And probably my proudest creation, or the one that I spent the most time on, is this little fountain. Now this fountain is actually not a specific item in the game. It's actually kind of unique. I think you can actually see what it is from far away if I go far enough. You can actually see right now, this is the void little fountain that we get in the game. A strange little fountain, that's what it looks like. And essentially what I've done is I've covered it in a bunch of these rocks. These rocks I took, there's actually 3 big types of boulders, and I just kind of resized them, folded them in such a way that if you go ahead and you look like this, if I use my advanced mode and I just move this out of the way, you'll see here, I just placed everything to cover exactly over the original fountain pieces. I think this actually just needs to go a little bit there, you know, like that, so that you don't actually see what the basis of it was, but I still have like the water. So it kind of gives this feel of like, I have this like a little rock pool, and then there's got the little decorations like the bench, the tree, the flowers over there, the little warden owl at the top over there, just, you know, some light decorations. Now the inside of my house isn't super fantastic. I don't really call myself a major decorator. But I played around with a few things. Like you can see here, this is the main hall. Obviously, when you edit your house and you go to the floor plan mode over here, you can actually add on rooms or remove rooms. You'll see here, you unlock different room sizes. The better your house's level goes up until level 5 is the maximum. And you can like change the way your house looks. Now, something you should also know is that you can change the wall color, the doorways, and also the roof and like the floors. So when you go into that edit house mode, you'll see here there's a customize mode. When you click this, and for example, you click the floor, I can change the floor to different kinds of wood, right? So you're going to use this to get the exact style that you want. When you hit the wall, you can go ahead and select it like this. You can select whichever one you want. You can have like the silver moon one. And if you want this around the entire room, you can go ahead and hit this option, and it will literally change all the walls to match that. I think you'll see over here, if I go to the right, there's like a bedroom in here, which is just, I guess, a bedroom. Like I didn't really put a lot of detail. I was just placing things down to see what kind of ideas you can get. These doors aren't real. These are actually placed down here by me. And then if I go ahead to this room over here, this side, you'll see here, this is a different kind of room as well, kind of just playing around with placing everything. This is the one where I put the bathroom in. I thought it was kind of funny playing around. When I saw this, I was like, it's a toilet roll. And then I had to make a toilet, put like a toilet brush, put like a sink, maybe some tools to fix the toilet stuff with. And then, yeah, a torture chamber in the bathroom. You never know. Obviously, this is still all in early access, so there's still plenty to change, and it probably might change a lot more once Midnight comes out in March next year. I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Catch you around.